Ken and Scott here. You're back with Liberty Marksman. Today is part 2 of our AR-15mold.com torture test.
Today we're going to be out in the field and we're going to try to get on target, see if we have any accuracy issues. We had done some cold tests in the shop, and we also did Cerakote and Durakote.
Cerakote and Durakote both adhered very well to these lowers, but one problem we did find is don't even try to lightly dust them with the sandblaster, because it just takes the surface off and you're left with little air bubbles.
They look like foam.
And they look like shit. So you know what? We'll get back to these a little later. But for right now, while we're braving the cold, why don't you guys head back in and check out our dry ice test.
We'll be right back.
This one has been in the freezer for about a week. Give me a temperature reading on this one. We are at 0.5. So half a degree. Same test as we did with the heat.
20 pounds.
Not affected it at all. So, like we always do, we're going to take it to the extreme. We're going to put it in some dry ice. Dry ice, its temperature is about -109.
Yeah, I think it's about 109, 110 degrees below zero. See if it gets any more brittle.
Alright, so here we have our dry ice.
We're going to verify a little bit that we actually have dry ice. I don't want anybody to think we're faking this. Just going to drop a few in the water. It's dry ice. So we're going to start out with a bucket. Drop a whole bag. Flatten it out. In goes the receiver. Another bag.
And we're going to seal it up, check it out in about an hour. What do you think this stuff would do in bourbon?
I don't know. Yeah, that looks kind of cool though. We'll see it. We'll top this thing off. Let it freeze.
As you can see, we've got snow built up on our bucket. It's actually freezing the moisture in the air to the bucket from the dry ice. Alright, so let's pop the top on this bucket and see
Let's see where we're at.
Before you do that, I'm going to grab some of that. Put a little more in our water. And put a little more in my drink.
Okay. So there we are.
Yep, let's check it with the Raytech.
I don't think it's going to scale with the Raytech because Raytech will only go...
Raytech only maxes out at -34.
And it's maxed out.
And it's maxed out.
So... And it's holding. Little tight. We're actually moving the 20-pound weight, trying to slot it.
Is it brittle enough if you just tap it, it might crack?
That I don't know.
Well, let's find out.
Nope. Just holding up.
Well, that's good.
So low temp is okay.
Well, it's actually freezing up on there. Bring it in.
Ice.
As you can tell, it's cold. It just froze up right on there. God, it's way better cold.
Yeah, I'll tell you. So we've taken our test and we've gone from half a degree to minus 110 degrees. It looks like it's going to hold up pretty well for cold conditions.
Yep. I was actually really surprised that it was cold enough still after being out that amount of time to freeze water on it. But
Yeah.
it might have shrank up a little bit.
Yeah, like it got a little tighter, but you know, at 110 degrees, everything else is going to be cold too. The magazine wasn't obviously at 110 degrees, all minus 110 degrees. So I mean, it would have had the same shrinkage that you would on anything else that's
Yeah,
in
you
that
said shrinkage.
shrinkage in that atmosphere. So I think it's a viable option for cold weather.
Yeah. It held up better than I thought. I was expecting it to be brittle, but I think that's pretty cool.
Now it's just a matter of shock load. Let's load some rounds through this thing and do it on a bump fire. See if it can handle 800 rounds per minute.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
See how
That
they feel.
and some accuracy tests. See if it can hold up. We'll see you on the range.
We're going to start first with taking some shots with a standard aluminum lower. We've got a 10-inch plate at 200 yards.
Now we swapped out our zeroed in upper with the AR15mold.com poured lower receiver. See if we can get on target with it. Check it out. You ready?
Mm-hmm. Hit. And drop. You may have seen this lower, on Facebook. Let's see how she runs. This one seems to run pretty well.
So we promised you a bump fire on the AR15mold.com lower. So here it is.
Fucking trigger.
Trigger won't pull.
Nothing but trigger issues. What's going on with it?
It's just jamming up. I can't get it to keep going. Actually, this is the first one we've had that's actually got a trigger issue. It just won't engage. I'm chambered. Eject. There we go. So far in the cold, we've had some magazine slotting issues. Our mag release button gets stuck every now and again. And we're getting some trigger issues in the cold. I'm going to try another magazine as opposed to the last magazine. And let's see what we get.
It acts like the trigger is being hung up by the safety.
The trigger is locked up. You have to clear it. And it locks up. Now just because everybody's going to say maybe the bump fire just doesn't work, I'm going to go put this on a different upper and show you it work. Alright, so when I took the lower off, I noticed that we have a stress fracture right at the rear takedown pin, which allows the pin to wobble around. I don't know if you can see that real well. It's another one is junk. Alright, so now I put a mil-spec lower receiver on here. We'll see if this bump fire will work in these conditions. I think so.
Let's try Grimace with the red dot. Oh, something just went flying.
Bolt over.
There was a piece that went flying. I bet it was a feed lip. Yep. When the bolt came forward, I watched the feed lip.
Yep. Snap it right off.
Alright, so when we dropped the bolt, it chambered the first round, but thought it was weird. I seen a piece of plastic go flying, and it took the feed lip right off. That would be a misalignment issue. So, I figured out what we're going to do with the Duracoated one. Pull.
Booyah.
I think that worked well. It's 150 yards. Now let's move it on to 200. Six-inch. Try the 4-inch. And you dropped it. Well, I would say as far as hitting steel, pretty good. But let's put it on paper.
Top target.
Top target. Alright, so at 200 yards, that was our grouping with the AR-15 mold lower, and not bad. Not bad at all.
That's Ken ringing steel at 200.
So I would say plastic lower doesn't do too bad as far as ringing steel. We figured out what to do with the Cerakoted lower. Alright guys, it's starting to get dark out here. You can see the moon coming out. Let's get our... Scott, give me your final thoughts.
Well, like I said, we've done a lot of testing. We've done everything from the chemicals to temperature testing. And we're definitely temperature testing it here as a functionality in basically 10-degree weather. We've spent the better part of the entire day out here swapping upper receivers with lower receivers, and we had originally bought PSA trigger kits. These aren't bad trigger kits.
No, we got a DPMS and a WMD.
yeah, we kind of try to spread it out to see if it wasn't just case sensitive to each, to a bad pour or something like that. But
And that doesn't seem to be the case.
no,
And it could just be temperature.
it could be.
be all
But
fair,
basically, our biggest issues were
Magazines,
magazine engaging.
flex, and the only thing we can figure on this one was a little bit of flex. Chambering around, but shearing the top of the magazine off just tells me that maybe tolerances were a little sloppy in a mag well
Yeah.
or whatnot.
The bump fire, I wouldn't suggest it.
No,
I wouldn't suggest
we
it.
tried it on another lower. We didn't get that on video, and it did the same thing, cracked the rear.
It just cracked the rear. It just can't handle the cycle rate. And I don't know that it's going to do much good because it actually happens at the rear takedown pin, and I think it's almost going to be impossible to reinforce that. Other than that, I think it's a viable option if you wanted to just have a functional red tape free lower receiver.
Yeah,
They function. Our Target,
Yep, it was actually held about the same accuracy as the mil spec lower, and you know, if you're gentle with it, if you use it knowing what it is, I think it'll function just fine. Just don't take it to the extremes.
yeah.
You know, I think it's a really good option for, you know, like a 9 mil or 22 conversion.
Yeah, that'd make it a lot of fun, and you wouldn't have to worry so much about it. We were pretty cautious out here in the cold. You know, putting a weight on the magwell is a good test, but at the same time, it's not a live fire test.
Yep,
And
yep.
you know, safety for us, the Caldwell and a string, those first few pulls, we just wanted to make sure we weren't going to eat anything in the face. So, and I would say the same thing for you. Every time, if you're going to cast one of these, definitely be careful that first time out to the range.
Your life isn't worth
Life isn't worth a plastic lower. Seriously.
your livelihood or whatnot could be over in a second. So, but otherwise, that's it. We
That's
are
it.
done with this series, unless we get some of the reinforcing material on the rear buffer tube section and redo that test. But
Yeah, give us some feedback. Let us know what you thought of it and what you thought of the test we did.
yep, we'll catch you guys later.
See you around.
Stay tuned.